Good morning, my dear friends. I am Prashant Mawani and I warmly welcome all of you to Study IQ. Thank you very much for your greetings, your love and support. I have gone through your comments and trust me, it is very encouraging. With this, dear friends, I would like to let you know that you can follow me, contact me on my Facebook page. You would be able to download this lecture from my Facebook page as well. Let's go through the positive start quote from Dalai Lama. Sleep is the best meditation. If you ask me, then I would say that sleep is basically charging your mobile phone, right? It is something similar to charging your mobile phone. Basically, when you wake up in the morning and when you find that your phone is not completely charged, or say for example 30 or 40% charged, then you know that if you are going to have a busy day, this phone is not going to survive. In the same way, if you are having inadequate sleep, then your productivity will take a toll. So think about it. Don't do anything by cutting down your sleep time. Sometimes it's all right, but if you're doing it for a very long period of time, then you should think about it seriously. With this, dear friends, StudyIQ provides pen drive and tablet courses for various different exams, as you can see on your screen. And the good news is that huge discounts are on from yesterday. So they are going to last till 3rd March, so make sure you make the most out of this great holy sale. To find out more, check out StudyIQ.com. We have two, you can say, items on India-Canada relationship. This one is an editorial and this one is an article written by a diplomat. Want to know about the name? Just check out the Hindu website. You will find the name of this diplomat who has written this article. Now, many mistakes took place recently when Prime Minister of Canada was here in India. So yes, but the good news is, or you can say the only hope is, that we can sort these things out. There are many common things between India and Canada, and let's go through it, right? What I have done is I have combined, or you can say clubbed, both these articles together. So bits and pieces, important items from both these things are taken on board. And yes, when you download this file, you can go through important lines as well, the ones that you can see on your screen. So right, Liberal Party of Canada, or the Prime Minister's party, Prime Minister of Canada's party, has been being soft, or you can say that for the sake of what they have supported or recognized. And in fact, they have called this Liberal Party, called this 1984 anti-Sikh violence as genocide. So there are a list of bad moves that made India really, you can say, unhappy. And this was visible as well. You know, we have talked about this thing. It was there in the news items too, that Prime Minister, means Indian Prime Minister, means he was just following the protocols, rather than, you know, many a times it is his personal, you can say, way of greeting or way of receiving or looking after visiting top leaders from different countries. You know, Prime Minister Modi, he has his own personal touch there. He will do something out of the box, something out of the blue and things like that. But this time he was just following protocol. So this was taken as, or you can say, it is a way of sending message. You know, India basically was trying to send this message that India is not happy about this Liberal Party and the way things are going on in Canada. Justin Trudeau, he attended a rally in Toronto organized by this Khalistani group. We talked about it a couple of days ago. This is just a reminder. So these are bad moves taken by, or bad steps taken by, this Liberal Party and the Prime Minister of Canada. Now, interesting point, let's start with this one. The first point here, right? To see, Ottawa was adamant to include controversial ministers. Now, Ministry of External Affairs of our country and its counterpart, before any sort of this sort of visit, you have this, means both these ministries, they will interact with each other and they will finalize the list of things to be done and things like that. Yesterday we were talking about this. Our foreign secretary, he was there in China to meet top leaders, and I told you yesterday that before this SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization's meeting, we are basically preparing the whole ground. So this is how it works, right? This sort of things you hardly find in news, but this is how this MEA works, or foreign ministry works. And so whilst preparing this list as well, right, there are many controversial ministers. And this, when I say controversial ministers, in Canada or Canadian Parliament, or you can say Canadian system, cabinet. This ministers, they are like extremist. They support or they sympathize with this extremist Sikh groups in Canada, and they are doing this thing for votes, right? The main quest here is for the votes. So this is something that India is not at all happy about. The other thing is that if you see this case of back in 2016, the current Punjab Chief Minister Amrinder Singh, he was not allowed to, or he was denied trip to Canada back in 2016, and MEA tried to basically inform this Canadian counterpart that you should get in touch with this Chief Minister of Punjab beforehand, send him letters and things like that, but nothing was being heard from this Canadian counterpart. So problems were there, you can say, and still they were not sorted till last you can say date, or last moment. Then India asked Canada to reach this Punjab Chief Minister, and then you have this third item. This is about Jaspal Atwal. You know, he was considered as a terrorist. He was referred as terrorist in the Hindu newspaper, and this Jaspal Atwal is a man who attempted basically to kill or assassinate an Indian minister back in 1986, and he was part of this delegation of Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. So you see here the list of bad moves, right? It is this one here. Then you have 3 items so far what we have discussed. So of course he has the Prime Minister of Canada, he has promised that investigation will take place, but then as well this sort of things are not appreciated. This is not, you can say, a thoroughly planned trip. Then you have this Ottawa opted for 5, basically Prime Minister decided to visit 5 different cities of our country and then have an official, you can say, chat with our Prime Minister. Now I was going through some this diplomats, right? Their opinion, or experts, they have to say this thing that this was done purposefully, because you have, you as a Prime Minister of Canada, you have a team. That team will guide you about India. They will inform you the vibe of India and things like that. But as a Prime Minister, when you are here, when you go out and meet these representatives of people, and when you meet important people in our country, when you interact with public, then you realize, and then you can have a first hand, or you can say primary experience of the vibe or that energy, right? The connect that is there, or if there is no connect at all. So for that, in that term, this is considered a very interesting, or you can say a very innovative move done by Canada. So this is not always bad thing. If this was done for this purpose, meeting Punjab Chief Minister, meeting Gujarat Chief Minister, and meeting other important leaders, and visiting this different cities, and so it was like, it was not just about a family vacation, it was, he was also meeting it. So this is considered a you can say a new way of building up ties, and then meeting finally the Prime Minister. So these are the things that took place, and all these issues that are going on between India and Canada, the real casualty, or the real toll, or you can say the damage is being done, or it is creating this damage on this India and Canada's bilateral relationship. I'm sure if you are aware about this country, Canada, a little bit, then you will know that Canada is not a country that you find that much in global news. It is very, you can say, a quiet country. Most of the job for Canada is done by USA. You know that USA is a very aggressive. When I say aggressive, I mean to say that you find USA all the time doing something and something at international level. But Canada is a very quiet country. And relationship between India and Canada were so far so good. But all these things are taking place recently, after this Liberal Party coming into power again, we have seen this sort of cracks developing, and they should have avoided this thing, right? This government of Canada should be aware about this thing, that this Khalistan movement is something that will not be ignored by India at all. Having said that, we have many common things as well. We have some good, you can say, bridges between us. We have this pluralistic and diverse democracies with strong people-to-people ties. We have 1.3 million Indian diaspora. 1.3, we are talking about 13 lakh people living in Canada. Indian origin people, of course. So for a country that is big in size, is having a very small population, right? And out of that small population, if 13 lakh people are coming from India, then you can understand this community, Indian community, is going to be very important and very dear. And it is, as you know, Canada is a very diverse democracy as well. You have earlier on, predominantly a couple of years ago, maybe 15-20 years ago, it was more about French, because there is a French connection as well in this Canada. So either you should know French or proper English, and only then you can enter Canada. But since then they have opened doors for Indian people, and you know, we are pretty okay with English. So many people from our country now, they are settled over there. You have at least 1 lakh Indian students studying over there, and most of them, due to this, or because of this liberal visa thing of rules of Canada, most of them will settle down over there. So you can add 1 more lakh people here. So very important bridge, people to people contact. Regular listeners, you would be aware about this thing. I have said it time and again that it is the most important base. If you have this good people to people contact, then you can solve all the problems. Whatever problems you have, you can sort them out. If you want to take this relationship to any level, you can do it if you have good people to people contact. So the base is very good here. The other thing is that Indian public saw Mr. more of Trudeau's than any other foreign VIPs in recent years. Very interesting line here, right? This is what I call shade of diplomacy, right? Hardly anyone might have noticed this thing that we have seen from last many days. It was in news every day, and you know, this Trudeau family was traveling different parts, and they were constantly in news, and you know, they were wearing this Indian attire, and they visited Sabarmati Ashram, and they did all this, making chapatis and feeding these elephants and other things. There are many other things as well. So I'm just giving you a couple of examples. And so what they did is they were trying to send a message, or this Canada was trying to send a message that our people to people contact is good, and we know India very well. We are here to listen from you if you have any things. You know, this was a silent message, and cultural tie-ups and other things. So he was here with his family. So this also sends out some positive signals. So a very creative public diplomacy, no doubt. Now Mr. Trudeau returns home when he's going, he has left India, and of course we know that he would be more illuminated, he is more enlightened, and he would be knowing much more about India now, because as I told you, primary research has been done. He has been out there, physically out there, and then he is checking out the vibe and meeting people and things like that. So yes, this will create a sort of you can say a good move by Canada to sort out these problems that are going on. The most important agreement that took place between both this country, and most important from Indian viewpoint, is this framework for cooperation between India and Canada on countering terrorism and violent extremism. There was a flight back in, I remember, I just got this thing in my mind that do you know there was a flight, Air India flight from Vancouver, and this was it was attacked. A bomb blast took place in this flight that left Vancouver, and it was coming here to India, and this was done by this Khalistani extremist group. So it's not that you can say silent, or it's not that soft that we think. This can create huge amount of problems if this issue is not looked after very well. Now India's need, if we go through our needs, we know that at global level, right, we need someone, or this nuclear suppliers group entry is very important for us, and Canada has said that it is going to strongly support us. So this is going to be important for our energy security. At the same time, uranium exports from Canada, our relationship were quite good, but because of this new government, we have seen this sort of crack. So uranium exports was going up, or was going smoothly. When I say exports, I mean to say exports from Canada and import in our country. So again, energy security thing on regional issues like Maldives, Afghan, Pakistan, Indo-Pacific, UNCLOS, this BRI of China. We are not having any sort of, you can say, problems, or we don't have any sort of controversial or opposite views. We are on the same page. So again, good thing. A businessman said that we have this 5 E's between both the countries: economy, energy, education, entertainment, industry linkages, and empowerment of women. Trade at present, $6 billion is not that good at all. It should be much more than that. Because of our population and other things and common things between both the countries. So then as well, it can go up as soon as we sort out this issue. And then you have this Canada Track 1.5 dialogue on innovation, growth and prosperity was also launched, and the main aim here is for research and brainstorming, or encouraging research and brainstorming, for making the most out of this India and Canada's relationship. So that's everything regarding India Canada. I don't think so we will find more articles on this thing. Just in case if we will find, then it will be very brief discussion, because today we have gone or analyzed this thing thoroughly, I believe, and I'm sure things are clear to you now. And again, one more thing that I would like to add here: when we talk about uranium and nuclear suppliers group, it is also important for a renewable energy, or you can say clean energy. To be more precise, it is important for our clean energy mission. So that's everything. Now coming on to this article, very interesting one. It is about this: can banking recover? This NPA thing and fraud thing, this Rotomac case, and then you have this Nirav Modi's case, or this Punjab National Bank case, and non-performing assets. Now I'm sure you know this meaning and definition, and you have a good understanding about non-performing assets. For new students, if you means for the first time, if you are watching this video analysis, then I would recommend you guys to check out our previous videos in which we have talked in detail about non-performing assets and other things associated with it. This will help you a lot with understanding the articles that you find in future. And for regular listeners, this is the thing, we were talking in detail about this NPA, and now you can see that every time this NPA thing is mentioned, I'm sure you have this conceptual clarity, and it helps a lot in understanding other things as well, and then we can focus on new items. So NPA is 10 lakh crore, not a small amount at all, isn't it? And then you have 6 lakh crore additional one is written off. So this is what you call haircut, or 6 lakh crore. Forget about, we have in fact decided that that's gone already, that is not going to come back. So in total we are talking about 16 lakh crore, after which this 6 is gone forever. Now it's a negative impact. When banks will be having less money in their hand, then the charge or the interest rate, they are going to go up, because you have less money. Demand and supply rule applies. You can apply this DNS rule here. So money supply is less, demand is quite high, so naturally the prices or the interest rate is going to go up. The second thing is the bank will be forced to increase this interest rate a little bit higher, because it has to you can say fill this these potholes that are created by, or big potholes that are created by this NPA. So by maximizing their profits, they have to fill this gap as well, or cover their losses. So interest rates going up, this will affect this productive investment cycle, and this will impact the whole economy. So very, very bad thing. It's just like a cancer in our economy. Now the thing is, matter of concern is, this is going to impact our business and the way things are going on, the way, or I would like to use this word, ease of doing fraud, right? Ease of doing fraud is it's clearly visible with these cases. We can, if you go through these cases, then we find that ease of doing fraud is there, and the way or the length of its continuation, these frauds are going on for a very long period of time, and so far a third eye, or you can say umpire's eye, or you have this three system or three layers of auditing, and no one paid any attention to this thing, indicates ease of doing fraud as well as this length of its continuation is a matter of concern, and it is adding to this cancer. Now, of course, the cause is this failure of regulation, and it is very hard to believe, right? It is, means, I don't know why I don't trust this thing. I don't buy this media report, or when government is saying, or when some people associated with the bank, they are saying that only a handful of employees. No, I think this you will find once investigation, thorough investigation, if it is impartial investigation is done on this thing, then you'll find some top leaders of these banks as well associated with this sort of case. And I have a picture here for you guys. See here, from, you can see this picture was published in today's Hindu, and you see this NPAs, right? It's going up and up, and more cases are coming out, so this could be one of the reason. But at the same time, you see this for a very long period of time frauds are going on. Now you have this very interesting thing called LOU, right? LOU stands for letter of undertaking. Now how it works, or things, important things associated with this LOU, it is a bank guarantee, right? This thing enables, so basically what happens is, let's use this example. You go to a bank, you are having an account with a bank, your name is A, you are having account with bank 1. Now you are doing import export international business thing, right? And you want money in London for a very short period of time, quick money, right? So what this bank 1 will do, it will write to bank 2 that is having a branch, Indian bank, right? Having a branch in London. So it will ask or give you this LOU, letter of undertaking, and once you hand over this letter of undertaking, this number 2 branch in which you don't have an account, this bank will give you money, right? Because of this bank is taking a guarantee. I hope this thing is clear and making some sense. So this is what LOU is all about. It is a bank guarantee that enables a bank's customer to raise short-term credit from another Indian bank's foreign branch, and it has to be another Indian bank because foreign banks, they don't allow this LOU thing, right? And the other thing is, it was created by RBI as an additional incentive. It was basically, this LOU thing was created to promote quick money, and to promote this importers and exporters, so predominantly importers, so they can have access to money and things like that, cheap credit basically. So this facility is misused at present, and it is misused very badly. See the way things are going on. What happens is that this LOU, right, they are not recorded, so there will be no record of this thing. The other thing is, what they have done, this Nirav Modi and so far, and what this article is talking about, or what it is indicating, that what they did, they used this LOU and then they transferred this money to a shell company. And what you do later on is that you close down this shell company, and then this banks will take it as an NPA, then finally it will be taken as a haircut thing. So what happened actually is, by this nexus, finally this people like Nirav Modi and other people, right, they got huge amount of money from this loophole that was created by RBI, and at the end of the day they got all this money and they don't have to pay it to anyone, and they divide this money, whatever their share is divided between all these people who are associated with this thing. So you can see it is a very, you can say, brilliant way of making money, isn't it? Of course, most unethical one, because when a common man goes to a bank for loan, then that person is charged a huge amount of money. So anyways, what we find nowadays is that there are many willful defaulters, but they are not declared willful defaulters. Willful defaulters are neither punished nor prevented from leaving the country. This points are a real scenario that we find in our country. Names are not even made public, so they can continue to access loans from other banks. Then the fourth point is some insolvent companies are made to sell their assets, which are then purchased at throwaway prices by their associates, and then despite claims to contrary, sell companies held by influential people continue to enable the siphoning of assets and money laundering in various forms. And yesterday we were talking about this privatization, and a very good example is here. Back in 2008-2009, USA's and European banks, right, these private banks, they misused the top leaders misused their loopholes and things, and we saw this bailout was very expensive. Finally, at the end of the day, the bailout has to be done by government's money, so exchequer's money. So this is not a viable option at all. And talking about this private banks, if you go back in 1969, before 1969, we find 35 private banks used to fail every year. So this is not the way to sort out this thing, right? We have to tighten the rules. We have to increase this monitoring system. This third eye or umpire's eye should always be there, and timely auditing and auditing done at different level is and following rules and regulation, basically, right, is the main thing that we can do about it. And yes, less political interference will help too. With this, we have this article on AI, artificial intelligence. Very important thing, not only for your exam, but for our future life as well. Now, I'm sure you are aware about this name, Alan Turing. If not, then watch a film. I forgot the name of the film. Yes, Imitation Game. That's the name of the film. Very nice movie, World War II era, based on this Alan Turing and how computers were basically invented, is this man's hard work and other things, how he cracked this enigma, and how he did all these things. Anyways, so back in 1950s, he said basically this person is the one who is credited with inventing computers. It was done early on by some Polish scientist, a scientist from Poland, but Alan Turing is credited because he was the one who finally created this machine, right? So back in 1950s, he said that by the turn of the century, it would be possible to make computers that matched the capacity of human brains, packing in about 1 billion neurons. So far, we have not achieved it yet. I would say yet, because you never know. That is something, means we have seen aeroplanes, we know these mobile phones, and there are things that can be done with the help of technology. So we cannot say that this will never happen. But of course, we have to keep this thing in mind as well. This hippocampus, the one, a part of our brain that recognizes this face and remembers this emotions and other things. It's a very highly, you can say, advanced, and I have said it again earlier on as well, that our brain is one of the most advanced thing that you have on this planet Earth. Not sure about the universe, but definitely on this planet Earth, our brain is the most advanced machine that we have. So creating something that can work at par with our brain is not impossible, but it is going to be difficult, and we are going to have this incremental successes, right? Just step by step we are going to. And the other thing is we are not that much, you can say, we have not understood our mind as well thoroughly, right? This is a fact. So I don't know, this is a food for thought. Should we first understand our mind and then talk about, or then think about creating this artificial intelligence, or this is the right time to go ahead with it? I will leave it on you guys. You can take it as a question as well, that there are many things that we have not explored or understood about our human brain and mind as well. When I'm saying mind, I'm not talking about this physical brain that you have in your head. I'm talking about this imagination and other things, you know what I mean? So mind and brain, these are the two. One is tangible, one is intangible. And then you have different scientists, different field, right? Human behavior, artificial intelligence. So everyone has to come on board, and then only we would be able to create a perfect or say near to perfect this artificial intelligence system. We have seen some, you can say, good breakthroughs in 21st century. We have seen this designer babies, you can alter your genes and things like that. Then you have this let me clarify, GENES. I'm not talking, when I'm saying designer, I'm not talking about Armani and Gucci. I'm talking about this genes that you can, if there is going to be any sort of fault in the gene of the baby, then you can edit and replace it. So designer babies, then robots doing surgery, we have talked about it, computer programs that can defeat humans at various games, and this driverless cars and other things. So we have seen this sort of breakthroughs. Now let's see what is there in the pipeline, or what the future is going to bring. With this, dear friends, that's everything that we have got in this articles section. Now we're heading towards news item. The CPC, Communist Party, has lifted this 2 years limit on presidency. So Xi Jinping may, after 23 as well, he may continue for another 5 years. Of course, he's not going to be there for his life, but another term is something that we can easily expect. Important item here, it is Rustam 2 is a UAE. So beg your pardon, UAV, UAE, not UAE, UAV, unmanned aerial vehicle, and this is designed by or made by this DRDO. It is MALE, MALE, that stands for medium altitude long endurance drone. It's not an attack drone, it is electronic and signal intelligence mission drone, and this is a good start. We need more and more of drones. Somewhere around 100 drones are required. They help us a lot. Man Ki Baat program was delivered yesterday by PM. He talked about women empowerment. He talked about making women as equal partners in development of country. Very important topic. And here you can see, right, a very interesting line said by Prime Minister. He said that we are part of a tradition where men were identified because of women. Yashoda Nandan and Kaushalya Nandan, and then you have Gandhari Putra. And I don't know whether I'm right when I say this thing, that nowadays people feel ashamed of you can say, identify, if they are identified because of a woman. So this is something that should change. Culture change is required. And he talked about this Govardhan, and it is about, this waste or fecal material, or you can say cow dungs and other things. We can convert it and produce gas out of it. So this is a good step. In future we're gonna see this thing as well. Vacancies in judiciary is going to be a big problem in different high courts as well as Supreme Court as well. Is going to see some 7 vacancies. So this is going to impact delivery of justice. We have to sort this thing out. Navy to host this Milan. Milan is a naval sort of exercise thing, and you have different countries taking part in it. So in future we are going to see more updates on this. This is just a curtain raiser. Just keep this thing in mind that before 6th, it is going to be held between 6th of March to 13th, and we are going to see some updates before it. That's everything that we have got. In business page you will find articles associated with this NPA thing. We have talked about it, so I have gone through it. Just have a one-time read. And international pages, again, just go through it or have a quick glance. And that's everything that we have got in today's The Hindu. These are your answers, and these are your 3 questions, MCQs, because the prelim is just around the corner. I will see you all soon. Enjoy your studies, and don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Please give us your like. This motivates me personally. Pass your answers and your comments, and also think about that AI question that I asked you. And check out our holy sales. Jai Hind.